Bumblebee gets Meredith. It was a fine day. It was a fine day on Cleanat Earth, and everyone was happy and not scared of Decepticons because they knew Autobots were there to keep them safe and happy and fun. But did people of Earth know that the Decepticons were planning something that would spell disaster for all? Bumblebee, who was in the base and with Convoy, says, "Convoy, what if them filthy cons are up to something?" Which to Convoy replied with, "Maybe, I doubt it, but let's roll out." Bay and Convoy transformed and rolled off to the place where they thought the cons would be, and Megatron and his army of Decepticons were all there and making people sad and angry and afraid. "Don't hurt those people, Megatron," said Convoy with. "Why not?" says Megatron, "and kills the people." "No," Convoy screamed, and then the battle commenced. The auras and cons were fitting, and some of the cons were dying after they got their arms and legs and head and blown off by Convoy's weapon. The bots were whining, but Megatron had a secret weapon that only he knew about because he was the only one who knew about it. He pulled out a bomb and threw it at Convoy. "Oh no, bomb will go off and kill me and Matrix, and all people will be sad and scarred forever," said Convoy loudly to self. "No."
Hi.
"Oh, hi."
Hi.
"No," screamed B and pulled onto Convoy and pushed bomb off and made B blow up in a boom and die. "Oh no," said Convoy and walked fast over to B. He grabbed B's server and said, B, you know you can't die. You are B and everyone licks you. Convoy, I was brave and now you must defeat cons so that they can get revenge on me for my death. So you can feel good about yourself because I am dead and you let it happen, Convoy," said B and died.
Oh my god. This is an entire series.
There are 3 of these. Convoy couldn't stop feeling guilty and said to Ironhide when he got back to base, "I let him die, so I must get revenge." "No, Convoy, it is too dangerous and it won't change thing," but it was too late, and Convoy was gone to do revenge on Megatron for killing his favorite friend, and he loved him. He went to their base, and there was Megatron and Soundwave and Starscream and other cons from the 80s, but not Mikhail Bay. So Convoy says, "I will kill all of you and you will pay," says Convoy, as loud and as scary and as deep and as fierce as possible. To be continued.
It's not continued.
No, there's 2 more.
Wait, what? I don't see.
There's Trust.
I think the one that I found is like a copy of it, because I only see 1 chapter.
There's Transformers. There's Transformers. Bumblebee gets Meredith 2, Revenge of Convoy, and Bumblebee gets Meredith 3, War of Convoy.
"I let him die, so I must get revenge."
So I guess
how was the third one even more misspelled than the first one?
We're gonna read all 3 of these.
How are you even gonna read that? I don't even know what it says.
I'm gonna read all 3 of these. We're gonna start.
Look at the summary for the third one.
What does it say?
Final chapter in the trilogy
we'll get to that eventually.
of
to 2 at the moment.
Meredith.
Hi.
Hello,
hello, Stanley. This is Transformers. Bumblebee gets Meredith 2, Revenge of Convoy. After Bumblebee was to kill in last one, Convoy must bet his revenge on Decepticons and Megatron, but other Autobots say no. And this is a bit longer than the first one. Transformers. Bumblebee gets Meredith 2, Revenge of Convoy. Convoy did like 3 font flips onto Megatron and knocked him to ground. He began to punch and kick him until energon was leaking out of Convoy's head like person from bleeding. Starscream aimed his laser gun at Convoy, but he was traitor. He aimed at Megatron instead. He shot the laser and it hit Megatron in leg and screamed "ah" because it hurt. And ow. Convoy had the uber hand in the fight, but Shockwave was there, and he had creepy wired one eye, which was bad for aim, but he shot at Convoy and it hit him and fell. "No," says Convoy out loud in head. Megatron got up and aimed his laser gun at Convoy's head and said, "Ha ha 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 ha, Convoy, you are stupid and you will pay. Bumblebee deserved what he got, ha ha ha," said Megatron to Convoy. "No," said Convoy, and kickled Megatron right in his area where private parts would be if he was human, but he's not. He is Gint robot with no private parts. Convoy took this chance to get onto feet and walk fast to cover. All the Decepticons were shotting him, and he was afraid for the first time ever. He didn't know what to do because he was pinned down, and he began to realize that Reveg is not maybe worth it. Then told of sudden light bulb, and Convoy said, I am a truck as well as a robot, when before I am a robot and not a truck. So he turned to truck and rolled it out over closer to Decepticon base where he would conclude his Reveg because maybe it was worth it, and I didn't know if he went just to be sure. He had gotten inside with no problem because the cons had lost him because he was sneak. As he walked past Aelig the corridor, he didn't notice that Soundwave was hidden as cassette player on shelf, or Robot's inferior Decepticon soap aria, as he duped onto Convoy, surprising him and scarring him. Get off me, H, E said, and threw him off, and Soundwave hit shelf, which collapsed and made bucket of energon land on his head, haha. Convoy kept going and found Decepticon's ship core. He pulled out his big weapon, but Megatron was nebby. Don't shoot to that, we'll all die. Convoy had to make a lightning fast choice. If he died, then he wouldn't be able to keep people of Earth safe, and he would not be alive to be happy about Reveg. Convoy lowered his weapon and said, This is too much, I am sad, and point gun at head. He was about to kill Iself, but just then he heard a distant boom and went to Widow. He saw that the rest of the Autobots were here, Ironhide and Jazz and Clit Jumper and Prowl and even Aura Magnus.
Clit Jumper?
Even though he didn't come till the season 3. Haha, said, yeah, his name is Clit Jumper.
Oh my god.
Clit Jumper.
Ha ha ha, said Convoy out loud, or Connoy. The rest of the Autobots are here to save me from Megatron and Cons. Not so fast, Convoy, and Megatron pulled out second bomb. Convoy started to get flashback to when he got blown up into boom by Megatron's bomb, and he said no, and jumped into Megatron as they begin to fight. Meanwhile, outside, the Autobots were shouting at Cons. We have to get inside fastly, said Aura Magnus. But they are all everywhere, says Prowl. Then Aura Magnus got really close to Prowl and said, I don't care, we are saving Convoy if it's the last thing I do. And they continued to shoot lasers and rockets and throw robot grenades at each other. Meanwhile, inside, Convoy and Megatron were fitting through life and death. Convoy threw Megatron against the ship's core and it began to smoke and fire. Now look what you did, said Megatron angrily. Now we will all go right now fast. So Megatron and Convoy ran out the ship's core room so they wouldn't die. Meanwhile, outside, Jazz looked up at the ship and yelled, It will explode! So the Autobots began to retread back away from the Decepticon ship. Starscream said, Oh no, Megatron is still inside, and if he dies, I'll become leader, yes. And he began cheering loweredly.
Yes!
But he was distracted by his cheering that he didn't see that Megatron and Convoy had escaped, and the ship boomed and killed Starscream. Starscream is dead. What an idiot. Ha, said Megatron. Just then, Convoy hit Megatron in the head, and Megatron fooled around, and Convoy pointed his weapon at Megatron's head. Now to finally get Reveg, said Convoy, in the ruins of the burning and blown up Decepticon ship. And he was about to, but then, in capital letters, Soundwave came out of wreckage and said, Laserbeak, go and kill the convoy, so I will be happy con. Laserbeak came out of Soundwave's chest and flew fast towards Convoy. Laserbeak imploded himself into Convoy's chest, and Convoy fell to the floor. Ha ha ha, Lord Megatron. Convoy is dead, and he walked fastly away. The rest of the Autobots watched with distance as Convoy got stabbed, and they said, Oh no, we must rescue him. So they went down to him. Rat shit. And said, I can fix him up, don't worry. And then he heard the biggest boom anyone had ever heard, and they saw a newer and better Decepticon ship fly off into sky. Wow, they built that quick, Clit Jumper remarked. Well, looks like they are gone forever and won't come back, yay, said Aura Magnus. No, said Convoy, we must get my true Reveg. Convoy, you almost died getting Reveg, said Prowl. And plus, it won't change a thing, so why do it, said Prowl again. Because Bumblebee was everyone's best, and now Spick has no friend to be role model, and him and so will grow up to be. Aura Magnus pounced Convoy in face and said, "Snip out of it, the cons are gone, so there is nothing you can do." And they all left angry, but Convoy was sad. That night, Convoy was lying in this bed. Do they have beds? Because I don't know. And he couldn't sleep. He looked on out of the window and saw pretty stars and Bee's face and stars and said, "No, there is something I can do." He got up and left the base and walked off into the night. It is time to end this, to be continued. And then we get to part 3. We're almost done.
What is there to say except wow?
Just nothing. Transformers Bumblebee gets Meredith, Part 3, War of Convoy. It's a final chapter in the trilogy of Bumblebee getting Meredith. Can Vonoy get his revenge for all finally? And I think this is the longest one. So... hold on, I've got to close your notes.
Hi.
Hello.
You're about to
Welcome to hell.
Hi.
Is this what it's like to be in grindcore?
Yeah.
Hi.
So
Just
here we
listen
go.
to these.
Don't ignore me.
Transformers Bumblebee gets Meredith, 3, War of Convoy.
hey.
Yeah.
Shut
So
up.
it's done.
I said don't ignore me.
Okay,
Why are you ignoring me?
I'm not ignoring you, Stanley.
No, shut up. I am in charge here. You are not. You're probably black too.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Author's note.
Paper plate is trash. Side swipe is better.
Who the fuck is side swipe?
It's my transformer. I made a transformer. I've put my wiener inside of this transform.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's really big, and he's got muscles, and he's not black. He's white, a very glorious white. Anyway, continue. I want to hear more of this Transformers.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Bitch, it's Transformers.
Can you shut up, you white privileged trash?
Author's note. I just learned that an English convoy is called Optimus Prim, but I don't want to confoogle readers, so I will still call him Convoy. Out in the night was Sideswipe, all unknown. He was checking for any Decepticon activity. Even though they were gone, he wanted to be sure. He detected Cybertronian life signals nearby and said, "That must be a con." So he turned into robot and pulled a weapon. He poked his head out from behind rock and said, "Phew, it's just Convoy." He put his weapon away and Sadie, "Convoy, you scared me," Convoy said. Sideswipe, "Give me your rocket pack." "Okay, but why?" said Sideswipe, but confused. "No time to explain," said Convoy, and went flying up higher than the sun to space. As Convoy was flying through space, he said, "Time to find those cons and end this once and for all." And he flew past Moon and Venus and Pluto, and he wasn't looking where he was going and crashed into planet Char. "Oh no, where am?" he said in panic. And then he realized he was on Char. "Decepticons will be hidden here. I will wait for them to come and fight them I will." So he sat on a rock and began to wait. He waited for a very long time. It felt like years, but he was only there for a week. But then he saw the Decepticon's ship and said, "I must hidden fastly." He saw a nearby cave and climbed in, but because the cave was small and Convoy was big, he got stuck. "Oh no, I am stuck and cons will see me," he said, as he tried to squeeze into a hole. Megatron got out of ship and said, "Finally, we're here. We can set up camp here and plan our next move." They began to set up tables and chairs, and no one saw Convoy's legs waving about in air out of panic. It's like fucking Winnie the Pooh. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, Sideswipe returned to base and said, "Do you know what Convoy is doing?" The rest of the Autobots said, "Oh no, he's gone to get Reveg. He must to get him fastly," said Ironhide. Asming, "Control for now, roll out." And they rolled out to Omega Supreme because he was in desert. Convoy kept pushing himself, and just a millisecond before anyone noticed, he fit into the cave and was stuck no more. I should dig a tunnel under cons for Sup-Eye's attack. So he began to dig inside using his hands and lasers, but no one heard his lasers because they were making lots of noise themselves. Convoy was right underneath the Con's camp. Okay, time to make my big entrance, he said. But above ground, Funcrack says, Megatron, look, there are footprints on the ground. And Megatron saw the footprints which led into cave and said, Soundwave, send Savage in there. So he did. Convoy was just about to make big, grand, epic, awesome call and entrance. But then he got attacked from behind by Savage. He panicked and stood up, which made his head come out from under the ground so everyone saw him. Take him prisoner, said Megatron, and the Cons took him to cell on ship. He'll get you, Megatron, for what you did to be, he said with growls. So this is very compelling. I don't know about you. It's better than The Last Jedi.
This plotline has just. I don't know if I can wait for the sequel.
We're in the final chapter.
Oh no. It ends?
Can we animate this? Someone has to animate this.
Omega
I think
Supreme
we have to do it.
flowed through space to Char and said, let's get him, everyone. And everyone said yeah, and graved lasers and grenades, and other tinks had to kill other Cons. Sideswip and Proll and Ironhide and Ulrim, Agnes and Jazz all got out of the ship, and Omega Soup transformed into giant robot, and they went to where they felt the Cons' presence was at there. Meanwhile, Envoy was being tortured by Megatron. In the Decepticon ship, why are you so insistent on getting Reveg? He said, UI just need my Reveg, otherwise it'll be sad and won't be able to properly save humans. Megatron laughed and got a giant robot crowbar out and tried to pry open Convoy's chest.
Yeah.
No, Convoy said. Don't take the Matrix, I need it to live and save humans.
Why'd you stop? Keep going.
Okay. Needed to take over universe, Megatron angered back. Whom? I thought that was a question, but it's just a sound. Whom? Convoy's chest flew open and the He-Matrix was in sight. Don't you dare, Megatron, Convoy said, but directly, because the Matrix is what keeps him alive. Megatron was just about to reach out and take Matrix out of Convoy's chest, but then he heard Skywarp knocking on door. He walked over the door with angry and said, what? Skywarp said, Autobots are here. Ha, said Convoy. They are here to rescue me. And the quotation mark ended like 3 words before the sentence did. Sideswip and Jazz and Prowl and Jazz and Sideswip and others were shooting at Cons in front while Convoy broke free and fight Megatron at back.
Get shot. Keep going.
Okay.
Why are you stopping?
The Autobots were waging their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons, and they were starting to win. A Decepticon snuck up behind Convoy and stabbed him with Energon flip knife. Convoy screamed, but took knife out and stabbed Con in brain. And meanwhile, a Megal surprise shot rocket at Fucker Slacker, and it clit him. No, said Skywarp. I will get my Reveg if it first finger I do. So he went up to Oman's pit and to shoot him close, but then as Convoy was fitting Megatron, he looked and saw Skywarp get stepped on by Supreme and thought maybe Reveg may get killed. So he punched Megatron for final time in face, and Megatron fell to ground. Conroy ran out of ship.
Hit that ground real hard.
And then stopped. He realized it was too late for him now. He knew that if the Cons didn't stop now, it would be sad forever. He knew what had to be done. Autobots leave. I must end this for everyone, so you all may be happy, and I will be with Primus. No, Convoy, we fight and help you, said Autobots and kept fitting. Convoy knew what he had to do, so he did it. He went to the Decepticon computer and called Unicron and said, Unicron, there is nice, tasty, delicious, eatable planet for you to eat.
Oh my god.
Please. And Unicron said, okay, and begin to come. Autobots, Convoy yelled out loud to Autobots. We must leave, for Unicron is coming. So the Autobots got scarred and went back to ship. Sideswip and Sideswip and Sideswip all got on the ship and waited for Convoy. But Convoy locked himself out of ship. Convoy, what are you doing? Said Jazz with worried. I must make sure Cons don't leave. I'm sorry, he said, and he left. No, he has my best friend, said Ironhide. But Orlando Sunrise before anyone could lift the ship. Convoy ran back to the Decepticon ship and put fists in air and said, "Filthy cons," and ran towards the ship, and all the cons were shooting at him, and he was getting hit and had holes in him, but didn't care because he had to do it. Just before he got into the ship and saw Unicron getting closer and closer, and then saw Autobots fly away safe, he ran into the Decepticons' cockpit and saw the Decepticons trying to start ship. Convoy punched them and tied one to a pole so he couldn't move. Convoy
Oh my god.
snaped the wheel so it couldn't move, and Megatron appeared into the door and said, "Is this how you wanted all this to end, Convoy? In your death? Did you think this would happen when you got your revenge for me killing Bumblebee? No. Two?" And then Unicron began to shallow the planet, and it was over in
Unicron?
seconds. It was a last moment's Convoy suit Autobots happy and safe, and Earth saved from the Decepticons, and no more meanness.
Okay,
But
Google.
then,
Somebody shut the door.
Pause the story. I'm gonna go get a drink. Thanks, Google.
but then Convoy woke up in whiteness.
Hey. I told you not to.
Okay, are you gonna go get a drink?
Yes.
Okay, go get a drink.
Okay, I will.
Have you gone? Okay. "Is this a whale of all sporks?" he said to himself. "Yes," said Bumblebee. "ZOMG, Bumblebee, it's you." Said, "Yes. Yes, Convoy. Welcome to Afterlive. But don't worry, Matrix will go on to hit it." "That's fine by me," says Convoy, and they walked away into never-ending whiteness together, holding hands. Into future, the world's new savior, Rodimus Prim, was hero and everyone was happy. A status was resurrected in middle of world of Convoy, so everyone remembered him for his brave actions and for killing Megatron. This was just the begin, for Unicron was still alive and he had powers to bring people from dead and turn them to others. And very soon Unicron was gonna find Megatron's body. But that is the very far of distant future, so it won't happen to any of the characters' lifetime.
You started without me.
No, we started just as he came back.
Yeah, whatever. Bye.
So they are fine and happy and safe and free of evil. They all learned one thing: revenge may end badly for some, but for others it will end well. The end.
So
That was
I-
really good.